contrast, the irreproachable rows of Belgravia and South Kensington seemed to Phyllis the type of her lot, of a life trained to grow in an ugly pattern, to match the staid ugliness of its fellows. But if one lived here, in Bloomsbury, she began to theorize, waving with her hand as her cab passed through the great tranquil squares beneath the pale green of umbrageous trees. One might grow up as one liked. There was room and freedom, and in the roar and splendor of the Strand, she read the live realities of the world from which her stucco and her pillars protected her so completely. Her cab stopped before some lighted windows, which, open in the summer night, let some of the talk and life within spill out upon the pavement. She was impatient for the door to open, which was to let her enter and partake. When she stood, however, within the room, she became conscious of her own appearance, which, as she knew by heart, was on these occasions like that of ladies whom Romney painted. She saw herself enter into the smoky room where people sat on the floor, and the host wore a shooting jacket, with her arch little head held high and her mouth pursed as though for an epitome. Her white silk and her cherry ribbons made her conspicuous. It was with some feeling of the difference between her and the rest that she sat very silent, scarcely taking advantage of the openings that were made for her in the talk. She kept looking round at the dozen people who were sitting there with a sense of bewilderment. The talk was of certain pictures then being shown, and their merits were discussed from a somewhat technical standpoint. Where was Phyllis to begin? She had seen them, but she knew that her platitudes would never stand the test of question and criticism to which they would be exposed. Nor, she knew, was there any scope here for those feminine graces which could veil so much. The time was past, for the discussion was hot and serious, and no one of the combatants wished to be tripped by illogical devices. So she sat and watched, feeling like a bird with wings pinioned, and more acutely because more genuinely uncomfortable than she had ever been at ball or play. She repeated to herself the little bitter axiom that she had fallen between two stools, and tried meanwhile to use her brains soberly upon what was being said. Rosamond hinted from across the room that she was in the same predicament. At last, the disputants dissolved, and talk became more general once more, but no one apologized for the concentrated character it had borne, and general conversation, the Miss Hibberts found, if it did occupy itself with more trivial subjects, tended to be scornful of the commonplace, and knew no hesitation in saying so. But it was amusing, and Rosamond acquitted herself creditably in discussing a certain character which came into question, although she was surprised to find that her most profound discoveries were taken as the starting point of further investigations, and represented no conclusion.